to. So internationals, but we're still here. We still keep going.
Non-stop.
And the sentiment is still the same, you know. We talk about players rising. Some players did. But there's something else we talk about here a lot as well, and we talk about the standard.
Yeah.
The standard that is required. Yeah. And England, you know, things have changed. If you look at before the World Cup, after the World Cup, everyone actually looks forward to England games now.
That's what it's all about, man.
But one of the topical things that came out of this current England camp was the inclusion of my young bull, Callum Hudson-Odoi. So, Caltech, youth.
Yeah.
Youth is important.
English youth.
But, I mean, let's talk about it. So, probably about 100 minutes of Prem football.
I think it was 119.
119, something like that.
119
minutes of Prem football.
Hours,
yeah, less than 2 hours. Yeah. Probably like altogether like a game
of Premier League football, is it?
Yeah. Premier League
still
football.
hasn't started a league game as well.
Yep.
Make a under 21 appearance for the England team as well.
Yep. Played well in Europa League when he's been there.
Yeah.
Played some League Cup games. Should he have been included in this national squad? The outcome of it is that he's now gone on to become the youngest player to ever make a competitive debut for England.
Even ahead of Owen, Rooney.
Yeah. All of that.
That's mad, you know.
That's mad.
If you want to give him that deflected goal, you could say he scored on his debut as well. But
nah, he did.
But it's one of them ones
should he
where
have been included?
Like, my opinion, I think it's too early. But has he got the ability to play for England? Definitely, I think. But with the number of minutes, like we said, he's played, and if I'm honest, I think he's in the same boat as Phil Foden.
So the main caveat to this was people were saying that why isn't Tammy Abraham getting a call up, even though it's in Championship, he's done a lot. Wan-Bissaka, someone that's played in the Prem
example,
and done a lot, but not got a call up. Jay Manson's under 21s.
For me, it's with Wan-Bissaka, it's the complete opposite. For me, he's at the top of almost every single stat. I think heading, intercepting, tackling, 1v1 duels, or he's in the top 3 or 5.
Nah, Firmino.
I remember you dropped that last week. I was like, yo,
we're going to keep dropping it. Until Liverpool fans realise that their centre forward is a centre back at heart.
We say pressure from the front.
Pressure from the front. Attacking defender, all them things.
With Hudson-Odoi, I think it's a little bit premature. I think let him get some regularity at Chelsea. I like that he's performing for them when called upon in the Europa League. And even the last couple of 10 minutes when he comes on, he always seems like he's got that X factor about him. So is he an exciting player? Is he one for the future? Definitely. Do I think it's too soon? Because if you're calling him up, I'd say call up Phil Foden as well.
I feel different.
Phil Foden, for me, is just as talented as he is. And has similar in Man City, played in a couple of Champions League games, played in cup games, does well, but didn't even get a sniff.
So I have a feeling as to why this has happened though. But before I even go into that, I mean, you're an advocate of you're Mr. Youth.
Yeah.
You are Mr. Youth.
I feel if you're good enough to play,
you're good enough.
You should play. I get like at the end of the day, I understand that like people like Wan-Bissaka didn't get called up. But what I said like last week is in his position, you gotta compare it to everyone in their positions. Wan-Bissaka, they had Trent. They had Walker
technically,
and so those people they're ahead of him in the pecking order. It is just the way it is. They are ahead of him in the pecking order.
But with Trippier, would you not say his form has been poor this year? But and then Trent coming back from injury.
But like with Trippier, it's like he's already been part of the setup. Let's not forget he was arguably England's best player at the World Cup. People don't really rate him too much, but he's been part of the setup. He can come in, it's just going to be comfortable. There's no point of bringing in AWB and then straight away he doesn't get any games. He's just here for the ride. That could even be a little bit depressing.
100%.
So with Cho,
everything should be off merit. It shouldn't be because kind of like, you know what,
he deserves it. Like he deserves it, but
that's what I would say.
I feel like there's got to be some longevity there. I think the worst thing at international level, you know, you get all these people that have like one cap and it's like I was proud of one. The Kevin Davis, Jay Buford, I was proud of one. I was proud of my one cap. No one wants one cap for your country. You want longevity, and the thing is,
his time will come as well.
His time will come, but ultimately he's in one of those positions where even if his time wasn't going to come, he can still go and play for someone else. I don't know if that was the thinking.
I had Congo already in negotiations to try and get him over, and for me that not to be stingy, but that would be in a way what would push me to actually call him up, because Congo, I think he would consider playing for them. But with the form he's in, I feel like with Trent,
Congo
Rashford.
Congo decent.
Listen,
I'm not even laughing
Cup of
at.
Nations,
Yeah,
he
I'm
could
but
actually win something.
They won.
But let's wait, man.
They won it previously.
Let's be a little bit. Like he can be a little bit patient.
I can.
He can be a little bit patient. Like Congo will always be there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not going to be silly and move like Shola Amiobi, who waited until he was like 32 to get until he said that England is done.
But on the Hudson-Odoi thing, so with me, after 100 and whatever minutes, you would probably say no. But I believe how Southgate is, how the England setup is, and where England are going, I thought there's a genuine reason why he did it.
Look at when he played, when he came on, for example. Take away everything that you're thinking, and you just go and watch him.
He did well.
Is that a player that you would say
100%?
He doesn't deserve to play?
So my thing is,
he's good enough to play. So play the boy.
My thing is, one, in terms of standard, is he there? You can argue yes, or he's going to be there. I also feel that this is a player, right, who was touted for a move to Bayern. He's not getting game time. His best friend is in that squad. The people that they look up to, Sterling, is doing the madness. You bring him into this squad now. He's already won an under-17 World Cup. You bring him to this squad now. He's with these people. You know, he's talking about how things are going at the clubs. That's either going to push him to get himself to that first team or get a move. Because at the end of the day, if he's not playing for Chelsea, what use is he for Southgate?
Yeah,
and he's not.
I think that's
playing for England.
Playing
for England, but remember, Foden's still going to get. Foden's still getting involved at City. So it's like, you know what? It's there. Like Hudson-Odoi is not compared. If Foden's run in the FA Cup, like every time he plays, he's scoring, he's doing stuff.
What I'm saying.
Man City are like Pep actually. Guardiola comes out and actually says, "This is my guy."
I rate him.
We don't hear that from Chelsea. So my thing is, if Southgate is doing this, it's either one thing to say, you know what, I believe in you.
I think Southgate probably has more faith in him than Sarri does.
100%. So what does that tell you as a player? It tells that, you know, if I want to be back here, I need to be playing.
Is that not a problem then, though? If your national team manager, Germany does that a lot as well, where the national team manager can have more faith in you than your club.
Yeah.
For me, your club should be your primary. You should be playing regularly, even if you're not
100%. But if your national manager is bringing you someone saying, listen, I believe in you, it brings a situation where you either have to go, you know what, okay, maybe I need to get out of here, or I need to demand that I need to be playing.
What I think.
And I think it was an activity by Southgate to really show that, you know what, we believe in you. Your club needs to believe in you, and if they don't, then boy, listen, you're around these guys now.
But how do you think it would affect? Do you think it will affect Cho if, for example, Rashford comes back? Because obviously the reason he got dropped, and then Southgate says, okay, I'm not going to, and he doesn't call him up, and then he's back on under 21s. Then it kind of depends on how he reacts to things. How is he mentally? Is he going to take it hard if he goes back to under 21s?
I don't think so, because he was never in the under 21s.
Exactly.
So
he got
that
the bad
would be a
pass.
learning curve
And
again.
the bad pass for him was because we think you have the ability. Now what he has to do is he has to get himself, and that's why I think it's really important. You're around Harry Kane. You're around Sterling. You're around these big players. You have to go and get game time, whether you force your club or you force a move. I think that's what the activity was. It was, listen, we know you're good enough. Everyone knows you're good enough, apart from your club.
And I think what these recent fixtures allowed Gareth to do as well. There is that nice little bit of
Gareth
English.
like he's...
Like Gareth. Yeah,
was putting Gareth. What's allowed Gas to do?
No, but what I like about him now is that he's bringing this crop that has won the Under-17 World Cup. He's giving them a chance to come through together.
That 2000 crop.
Yeah.
They're looking.
He's saying, "I want you lot to come through together." So I like that he put Sancho. And
it's nice you've mentioned this because you look at the England squad. Under 17s won the World Cup. Under 19s won the World Cup.
They've won 3 Toulon tournaments. In the time.
So there's 2 young crops coming in. Mason Mount a while ago got like a call up for doing well.
He's been injured for the last 2 months,
but he's got call up. Based on what we're seeing with England squad right now, matching the feeling of the nation and everything behind it, are we seeing another golden generation of talent?
I mean,
and I say this loosely because it could be England's golden generation, but I personally feel that if you look at like other nations' golden generations, like the VVS, ours ain't shining too. The current is a bit. But
I don't even like calling the golden generation of like 10, 12 years ago the golden generation because they didn't win anything. For me, that's too much pressure. Like, already, I feel like now it's almost remnants of getting too ahead of ourselves, where there is potential there, and I'm talking potential for these players to be actually world class. Like there's some top level youngsters. But do I want to put that pressure on them and say they're the golden generation, and in 2022 or 24 they better win the silverware?
Yeah, I mean, it's harsh.
I don't want to put that pressure on them. I want them to, how they play, that free, without any fear or anything like. I want them to carry on doing that and just get some consistency.
No, 100%.
At the moment, though, if you look at it, though, it's too early to say golden generation because, for example, let's say Rooney was coming through or whatever, he's already put in that graft. He's already known.
He's shown himself as Rooney.
Right now, out of all this whole golden generation that we can say all these names, Mount, we can say all these names, it's only really Sancho who's delivering that kind of noise. We see the ability.
Let's take away from golden generation then, but in terms of squad, so the last time, you guys correct me if wrong, the last time people probably looked at an England squad and thought, my God, was probably that period between 2004, 2006. Under Sven, where you had the three centre mids. You had Owen, you had Rooney,
young Rooney. Do you know what that guy was? Young Wayne Rooney.
So that you had that crop of players. You had Ashley Cole. The goalkeeper was brass. But you still had like
John Terry, Rio Ferdinand,
David Beckham, and all this type of stuff. It was like you looked at it and you went, wow. One thing we can definitely say is like, in terms of attacking, we know we've got Harry Kane. Sancho's looking at the real deal. Sterling will probably go into in a little bit because, boy, like it goes before him. There are the youngers coming through. Do we think that in a few years' time, this current team or setup will be in a position where we go, you know what, this team has to be able to do something?
I think it's possible because it's possible, but again, as Fuad said, it's so harsh to try and put that on them because these are Champions League winners, these are Premier League winners, these are the big dogs of the game,
100%.
So it's hard.
They didn't do anything
exactly, and so it's hard. And at the moment, as we were saying again, there's people that can argue if Sterling's a world class player, but I think at the moment Harry Kane is someone that is universally known as world class. So he's the only one at the moment who is a world class player, whereas that team, they were filled with world-class players, players. So it's kind of...
That's where the difference is that team was being called a golden generation. A lot of them were 27, 28, 29. These are 17, 18 and 19.
That's what I'm saying, look forward.
If we look forward and we say 2022, they're still performing at the same level. Hudson-Odoi is starting on a regular. Sancho's tearing up the Bundesliga.
But we've got
managed expectations.
England have always kind of bit off other countries' kind of philosophies and stuff. And I think this one that we're doing is kind of similar to Germany's one in 2000. When did Germany win the?
I think it was 2005 or 6.
Yeah, I can't even remember when
there was a crop.
When Ozil and all them players started coming through,
Khedira.
and then they went to the World Cup and smashed England in. So I think we're trying to copy that mold in terms, not copy, but a group of boys growing up together.
Further. So like Spanish squads, in the sense that Spanish and German, what they always did was you come through together. If you're good, you get accelerated.
But I feel like Spanish one was a little bit different because they all came pretty much from Barcelona. Like they were Barcelona.
Yeah, it was almost like one academy.
In terms of like at youth ranks, it all came through together. But what's interesting is Germany Confederations team. It was kind of like the C team, and it was like, listen, if you perform well enough here, you can go to the first team. And I think what it appears to be with the England setup is that we have our setup. You know, we know that the younger age groups are doing well. The ones that are really shining, you might get fast tracked. If you prove yourself, you can stay here. There's going to be injuries. Therefore, there's certain people that can come in and out. But we know who, we know that Pickford is probably going to be there. We know that the centre-backs are going to be there. We know that Kane, Sancho, by the looks of it now, and Sterling and Rashford are going to be there. That's why the likes of the Sturridges and whatnot, all these guys have been scared. But it's different from before. Like if you look at Roy Hodgson era, it was kind of like if he had a good season, like Stuart Downing, he didn't have a good season, got one assist going to a World Cup. Or you've got Andy Carroll and all of these guys going to big boy tournaments.
That guy still kicks ball as well, I think.
No, but the thing I like about Southgate now is he's stopped that where he's introducing these middle of the road players and just
I've never heard of
middle of the road.
No, it's true.
Who are on form for like a month.
Like even not even mid-table. What I like about Southgate is that he's come in with his idea, and every other England manager I haven't really seen do that. Southgate came in straight away. I don't care how good Chris Smalling does for Manchester United. You're not playing. You're not playing. You can't play my football. You're not playing. And I like that.
You can't play my football.
Absolutely. And it sounds like a cheap excuse, but he knows what he's going for.
It's kind of harsh because I think if you compare all of the centre-backs that England... He's probably the best performing centre-back that England have.
Stop it.
John Stones can't get a game. John Stones can't get a game.
Stop it.
John Stones can't get a game.
Mike Smalling. Mike Smalling.
Wait, Mike was elite. That was when he was in prime.
Mike
Smalling. Wait, look, John Stones.
Stop
John
it.
Stones doesn't get games. Am I lying? The John Stones get games.
Let's talk about the here and now.
What's he doing? Getting ripped week in, week out against for Leicester.
But
I like him. Let me know.
Let's talk about the here and now. Smalling is like...
He's not there.
I'm happy that he's not getting called up because at the end of the day, this is
what's happening.
But I'm saying he's probably the best performing centre back in England at the moment.
When Messi comes outside,
I can't wait for that. Messi come outside. Smalling will see.
On this though, so we're saying it could potentially be like, a good crop. In terms of this crop, then who are the standout players that kind of like, we need to be looking at this? And I feel
as in like we're building around, or
exactly, because for me ultimately, Kane's your captain, right? Rashford's a great player, like he's your top 5 in the Premier. Which means that in terms of like, because all of the English players come from England and whatnot, he should be there because he's top 5 and whatnot. But he's not going to start over Kane.
It's going to be hard for him.
He's not going to start over Kane.
Over Kane, yeah.
Sterling.
I think he's definitely one of those. Yeah.
There's no conversation. Sancho's making the other side his. Yeah. I feel one of the issue that England have, right, is if they had the centre mids from 2004 to 2006.
Yeah.
That's the one area they're lacking.
The one area that is probably lacking.
Boy. And that's why it goes back to what he said. When Declan Rice gets a call up, you can't blame anything because it's like, what else is there?
Listen, I saw guys in the comments, and I said, comments were even saying like, what if he can get a call up, Mark Noble can get a call up? But I'm like, name 3 players playing better right now. He couldn't.
You can't.
He couldn't.
The thing is, right, when it's Mark Noble's time, Mark Noble couldn't tie. He couldn't even put the insole in Frank Lampard's boot. That's no disrespect to him.
The levels.
That was it was far and far apart. Now, Henderson, Dyer, Winks, Delph.
Winks is probably going to get a lot of games for England.
He will. I think he's one that will come through.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, who should England, especially in that centre mid,
build around?
Make the call. Yeah.
As in,
Kane,
it has to be a Harry Kane thing because England built around Alan Shearer and it was quite successful as well back in '96, going into '98.
Showing your age
stuff.
now.
Yeah, I mean, I learned history lessons from him.
You got the VHS ticket.
But yeah, like England built around him, so it's gonna have to be a similar thing around Harry Kane. And if you saw against the game against Czech Republic, Harry Kane was dropping into the midfield areas, letting Sterling and Sancho come inside. Sancho loves coming in inside.
Imagine if Rooney had this when he was
exactly, but Rooney, who did Rooney had? He had Joe Cole, who's not far. He hasn't got that.
Straight down with no assist.
Straight down. Yeah. So honestly, I think Harry Kane. It's gonna have to be built around Harry Kane. Him dropping in and we've letting the wide players go into there. He's gonna have to help out the centre midfield a lot because we haven't got centre.
But that's the key thing. I think with those wide players, it helps them out. Then you also take into account his link with Ali. So him dropping deep naturally.
It's hard for Ali. It's hard for Ali.
Ali's one. Yeah, he should be fearing for his place, but it's one of those only because of the system they're playing now.
Yeah, exactly. Because Ali, for me, if we're talking about all the under 23 players, I'll probably still say he's the best one. He's the one that's done the most. He's a 2-time Young Player of the Year. Let's not disrespect
No.
Ali is so gone, right? We stopped considering my under 23 player a few years ago.
Exactly. Literally. The only thing about him, which I've always thought, is that he plays this kind of second striker kind of role. No one else is playing that except on Pochettino's Tottenham, and anywhere not saying he will leave Tottenham, but if he moved, he's not getting that role. He's not getting that role for England, and it's reflected in his performances. Dele Alli for England is a shell of what he is for Spurs, and I rate him highly, but that's facts.
Well, people said that about Sterling.
Sterling's maturity is just...
Listen, when we say people must rise...
Sterling's just
like, if you're the standard, you're the standard. And like, for me, it goes. Sancho came out and said something quite interesting when he was saying he has a special link with Harry Kane.
Sancho.
I found that interesting. I would have thought he would have said Sterling or something like that. And then when he said Kane, and then they showed the little sort of flickings he was putting in behind, I thought, interesting. Yeah.
What you're gonna try and put a little
summer rumours coming soon.
For me, it goes a long way where the camaraderie is right. I genuinely feel that the level that Sancho is peaking towards no one's gonna. I don't think anyone's gonna come and overtake him. Let's put it that way. I don't see another. England have got like young players and whatnot, but is anyone gonna come in?
I mean, you actually never know. This summer's gonna be.
You never know.
This summer's gonna be interesting because what's Cho gonna do? End of the day, Cho's not. He's not necessarily have to play on the left wing. I think he can play both sides. So. What's Cho gonna do this summer? What's not Sterling? Sorry, what's Sancho gonna do this summer? Because it's weird. Both of them actually linked with United, which is weird. Obviously, they both won't come to United, but it's like, what is they gonna do? Like Cho, say he moves on. Let's just say in a fantasy world, he goes to Arsenal, yeah, and then Sancho goes to Manchester United, and then Cho starts ripping it up. All of a sudden, not necessarily that Sancho's. So that's the thing. For once, England have healthy competition for people all around the same age. That's what's good.
Well, that's just like we said, centre mids. No, even if we look at the defence, right? Because back to the whole Wan-Bissaka thing. All right, you've got Walker, Trent,
Trippier. Yeah.
I kind of feel, based on Trent's progression and whatnot, very
Trent
similar
is
to the
the
whole
best one for me.
No, but I personally feel that. I don't know why. I still
Trent
feel
is naturally a midfielder.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I still think he's going to go because I still think he's going to one day go back in centre mid.
That's what
they
I
did the same thing with Gerrard.
Yeah.
I
genuinely get the
what number
feeling,
did Gerrard have when he was right back? Like 25 or something. And then he went to come centre mid. I genuinely feel that he can still make that move. So I don't know whether he's long term.
And he's technically good enough.
And if you look at the England centre mids.
We said it last week. That's just 10 minutes ago. We said that's the one area.
But what is he gonna be? What are we projecting for him? Like a box to box centre midfielder?
I would give him that role.
I haven't seen him play. I haven't seen him play at senior level, but I know that based on when he was at youth, based on his technical ability, based on the way he gets caught out at right back. I think he could do a better job.
Not a
better job. I think you could mould him into a good centre mid.
Yeah.
I think that there is the possibility there.
But the thing is, when it translates from youth level to senior level,
very different.
It's very different. Gary Neville was a centre back for United's youth, became a right back, obviously for many years. You said about Gerrard as a right back, went to centre midfield. Even Rice was a centre back, went into centre midfield. So it translates differently.
Even that one, because it's been this season and the tail end of last season that Rice has started playing that position. He's still grown into it, and he's looking like probably one of the best English centre mids.
Yeah,
for me, like he's good, he's doing well, but that's a huge kind of like we need to look into this sort of thing.
Spot on. But this is where I was saying where that golden generation tag, we need to relax on it because these players, some of them are playing, like you said, in these positions for the first time. Some of them are playing in new leagues for the first time. If Cho makes a big move, how is he going to settle into that new team? So a season or two later, these
boys can be. Listen, we could be special.
Could be special.
Could be special, or in 3 years we could be doing Where Are They Now?
Yeah.
Honestly, some of them could be at Hayes and Yedin or something. Honestly,
you
know what I'm saying? Like, bro,
that's a big pull off.
You never know. Hey, listen, you never know.
On that
local
though,
team.
We spoke a lot about England and their golden generation and whatnot in terms of this is a really good crop. However, I can't help but look past England and think to myself, okay, this is a good crop, but look at like France. Look what France are doing.
Yeah. Like look at their crop, and then even the players that are not calling up.
Yeah.
If Martial was English, he'll be starting.
He'll be clear.
Look at Belgium's crop; they're still growing.
Yeah.
In fact, look at the Netherlands. You can testify to it more. Look at the Netherlands crop.
Because literally, like 4 years ago, people were saying the Netherlands well has dried up.
Yeah.
It's done.
And they came from nowhere. Ajax are just like a pumping machine.
Literally, but that you need to realize you need to reinvest in it sometimes, and I think that's what Holland have done over the last couple of years. And we've seen a lot of good youngsters. De Ligt, Van Dijk has come out of nowhere. So it's interesting.
That's the thing. So like even like what you're saying with the golden generation tag, it could be a golden generation for us. By the end of the day,
in like correlation to what's happening elsewhere.
If we go back in time,
when we're talking about
if you go back in time to 2002 to 2004, the teams that knocked England out were France and were Brazil. Golden Gen. Listen, Lampard or Ronaldinho or Ronaldo or Rooney. There's levels. So even with the France team, there's Zidane, Trezeguet, Henry. Like these teams were still better than us at that time. So Golden Gen for us doesn't mean Golden Gen in football at all. And clearly it showed.
But give it time, man.
So in terms of
time, that's all I'll say.
Let's say, when's the next tournament?
2020 next year.
And
summer.
that's the dangerous thing as well. 2020. Getting to that semi-final last World Cup is dangerous as well because now the
expectation. Is that what we said?
I don't think so. I don't think it's the excitement, but I don't think there's expectation.
The talent that we have,
no English
and
media,
the expectations.
There's always
as well.
expectation.
2018, they're talking already golden generation. Give it 3 years now. They're like, yo, we got semi-final last time. We should get
final this time. Yeah, we should win.
Especially if they get an easy route like last time.
This one's closer to home. We should be able to win this one.
But if you look at the other countries, though, Holland, as we were saying, Holland are doing their thing, but they're still trying to come up. France are probably the strongest team, whatever, they're World Cup winners. But then look at Germany. Germany are done out here. Italy are done.
So this is where...
There's a chance that England can slow Germany.
This is where we have to be careful because ultimately... things work in cycles, right?
Yeah.
Germany have always worked in a cycle. Just because that main team is done, they had the
but by next year,
they had the whole Confederation team was essentially under 25.
But what about next year?
Aside from Goretzka in that team, I can't say who's a standout star.
So you've got Sule, you've got all of these guys. Well, Sane's getting booed by his own fans. That's all.
Boy, Sane's getting that Sterling treatment in his country. Man said they were checking his Balenciaga fur and that, telling that it was a $1,000 and all that. Like,
you see this, but things happen, man. Things go in cycles. Germany were winning even when they didn't have the best squad, when they had people like Trings and that Klose didn't look like a world-class striker.
I remember that 06 banger, boy.
First game,
Torsten Frings.
Like they were still doing things. So, and again, it's because their players come through the same crop. They understand each other. We can't write those sort of teams off. But at the same time, it is something exciting to look forward to.
It's something to say that England can compete at least. Remember going into the previous tournaments and you're just like, when are we going out? When are we going out? Now at least
we're singing It's Coming Home.
We've seen a few almost failed risings since then, like with the Wilshires, with the Theo Walcotts, where a couple of times we've gotten excited over youngsters and thought, oh, that's the next one. Oh, he can play for Barca.
Next
and then 2 years later, you hear, I know, took the number 14 and everything and thought he was going to do it, and now he's writing at Everton. But that's what it could be for these men if we're not careful with it.
Back to the centre mid thing. So what we said, England team.
That boy there.
He's an English darling though. He's the media darling.
To who?
Happy.
Only Arsenal fans.
No, not even Arsenal fans love him like that, to be honest.
That's what I'm saying.
The English media were like, oh, happy 30th birthday.
Nah, he's washed.
But anyway, so what? England squad has to be
like
essentially what it'll be. Pickford.
Man, you're a naked guy, man.
Listen, that hairline looks so bug, man. Walcott, allow it. Just go bold.
Is this what we're doing?
Oh my gosh.
So what? If he goes bold, he's gonna start what? Ballon d'Or stats.
You never know. Yo. The real you comes out.
Boy, that's jokes.
What? Like when Messi cut his hair?
Messi's gone. He's cut his hair. He's got no beard now.
Man United are in trouble.
Ballon d'Or.
I know he ain't playing around no more.
England. So let's say next tournament, what? Pickford in goal, essentially.
Yeah. Well, for the 2020, yeah. Are we talking about 2020? Yeah.
2020, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there are decent goalkeepers, but I don't see
Pope and Heaton and.
I don't see Southgate dropping them off the merit. He says that Pickford plays with his feet and whatnot.
Yeah, but the way that Ute's moving,
he's a bit. He needs to calm down. But
T-Rex arms. He just looks like he's got short arms. I don't know what it is.
He made the best save I've ever seen though against Colombia, boy. Hey, that was a mad thing. So he's in my heart.
Defense. Who are your centre halves?
For me, it's
you going with 3 or 2?
Stones,
Gomez.
Stones and Gomez.
I agree.
Trent, and it'll be between Chilwell and Shaw for me.
Depends on who's on the better form, to be honest. I think
if Chilwell goes to City, then it'll be Chilwell because he's gonna just.
I
don't want Pep touching that guy.
He's just gonna.
I don't want Pep touching that guy.
He's gonna get ahead of Mendy.
Mendy, what? That vlogger? He's a vlogger.
Yeah, Mendy's like head of social media at City.
Let's not do this. Mendy's playing, he's a baller though.
Mendy's head of social media at City.
When he's playing, he's a baller.
Does he play?
Yeah, for the 10 games that he plays.
You know what I mean? Does he play?
No, I hear what you last said.
He's not getting
mad.
Listen,
but if he stays fit next year and Chilwell gets
he won't stay fit.
I can't see Chilwell getting ahead of Mendy.
Mendy won't stay fit.
He won't stay fit. He will not stay fit.
You know he's there to vlog and sell shirts and increase the
fashion
thing. Shark team.
That's the thing.
He's there.
No, the disrespect is
real. He's quality. But think about it. Like, how many games has he played for City?
Nah, he's quality. Okay, he's not that great of a defender.
All I remember is the 7 games or whatever he played this year.
He had like 6 assists.
Top assister for like.
And then what happened? And then what happened after that?
I was like, right.
And what happened the season before?
I get it. No, I hear where you're coming from. Don't get me wrong, but it could be trouble for Chilwell. I wouldn't say it's a slot.
I think if they sign him, he slots in. I think if they sign him, he slots in.
We'll see.
So that's the back four.
I think he's a good call for England to play left back for the future, definitely.
Midfield now. What I just remember now is ultimately people we forgot. Loftus-Cheek, Ward-Prowse, Winks. There was another one that came to mind.
Rice.
No, we said Rice. There was another centre mid.
You never know what's going to happen with Grealish and then Mason Mount and Maddison. And
Madison, there we go. Under 21s. Who got feeling? Who do you think? Is it going to be a 5 or 4? Well, it's got to be 3. It's got to be 3. The 3 up top.
I would say
Rice,
and Lings.
I
don't think Lingard's starting.
That Ali and Lingard.
You think it's one of them two?
Yeah, the balance isn't. I don't think the balance will work.
Yeah, you can't have both.
The balance will work there.
I think based on
Henderson is an immovable object nowadays. He'll probably still play.
No, listen, Henderson has to go.
He'll probably still play.
Henderson must go.
I'll make it a campaign.
Energy.
Henderson gives energy, but I'm not sure what else.
What energy?
Yeah, like he runs around.
Yeah.
Did we say we need energy or do we need tech? What are you
talking about? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but England need the balance. England need the balance.
No, but when it was World Cup, right? They didn't need.
We should just call Milner back out, bro. Milner still has some left in him.
No. Milner's expired.
He's better than Henderson.
What are you gonna say next? What, Gareth Barry? What's going on here, man?
Start doing throwback Thursdays.
Bring in Scott Parker.
But I think Rice declaring that he's English, getting the call up, like in the manner it happened. I think that's kind of Southgate saying, "Listen, I think you could be the one."
Yeah,
you said it already. So I think he's in contention. If he gets a move as well.
Dyer's had 4
No, Dyer's done. Dyer's done. I'm sorry.
Nah, you lot are done with him.
No, Dyer's done.
I'm not.
Dyer's done.
Dyer will get call-ups.
Let me tell you why Dyer's done. He'll get call-ups, but it's done. Let me tell you why Dyer's done, right? Because Dyer was supposed to be this person that was the English centre mid, that played centre back, that had a bit of flair because he was in Portugal. No flair, no. What is he bringing that no one else? What do you mean? What's he bringing that Henderson's not bringing?
Because he's from Portugal, that he's gonna have flair.
But this is the problem.
He's still English.
That's Eric Dyer with flair.
We look at it now. Yeah, I was thinking
what trim. I knew that Ray had no flair.
What's wrong with this guy in haircuts, bro? What's under your hat, bro? What's under there? Man, this guy's
who got the hat on today?
Think about it, right? What is Eric Dyer bringing here that Henderson is not bringing? None of them are no forward passes. All they're doing is they're not even tracking runs properly.
No, I think he's a solid defensive midfielder, but like we said last week, he's a utility man.
Solid what?
He can play right back, centre back.
He's a good like 75th minute sub.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be between probably, as we said, it'll be between Ali, Lingard, Loftus-Cheek, Maddison. There's all these names. I'm not too sure, but I think it will be Ali and someone else. I don't know who else.
Are we in need of one of them to really take on and become?
Yeah, maybe Harry Winks.
Ali and Winks.
So that means
maybe Harry Winks.
What we're essentially saying is between Winks and Rice, one of them really needs to take on and become like.
No, I think Rice will be.
Rice will be the sitter.
I think he'll be the sitter. Winks and Ali will be the.
No, what I mean in terms of because. We're still putting names and saying this and that. We need one of them to be like really take off and be like, yeah, it's definitely you.
I think Rice is the only one that has his
breakout.
I think he will have that position locked because who's really knocking on that DM door? We've tried that Dyer. It's not working. We've tried Henderson. It's not that. Fabian Delph, he's violating to even be there. So, yeah, do you know what I mean?
Boom.